Hello again, guys, and this time I'm gonna make a much more serious video than I usually make. I know my videos are usually kind of serious, but this is a very contemporary issue that definitely needs more awareness right now. It's an environmental issue, and I was really surprised that all the environmentalists I talk to that don't know anything about this. Like, it's something only very specialized biologists would know. But I know it because I read a sign in an aquarium. So, see the virtue of reading, that's what it does for you. I'm aware of this terrible environmental issue. The issue is the Chytrid fungus. The disease that's going on right now, infectious disease that is devastating frog populations. So first, I'll tell you, what is a chytrid? When scientists are talking about the chytrid fungus, they're referring to one species, Bacteriochytrium digibatidis, of a larger family of 1,000 chytrids, and most of the chytrids are saprophytic, which means they're like just decomposing dead biomass, returning it to the soil. But this one species, Bacteriochytrium digibatidis, evolved to be parasitic somehow. And there are mushrooms that are just parasitic, and so they like kill trees and stuff, but this one parasite, it's one of the few parasitic funguses that infects vertebrates. So this chytrid fungus reproduces by laying its zoospores in water, and it needs to infect a vertebrate, and the only invertebrates around are the frogs. So it infects the frogs, and the fungus starts feeding off its keratin in the skin. So it would only affect older frogs that do have keratin in their skin. Like, younger frogs don't have keratin yet, but either way, it's bad. We should do something about this before it kills all the frogs. Yeah, the chytrid fungus is definitely something we need to do something about. It causes a fatal skin infection. So, scientists aren't really sure when the chytrid fungus started infecting the frogs, but we do know that in, I don't know, sometime in the past, like 1980s-ish, the, African clawed frogs from South Africa were being exported across seas for some reason. I don't know, it's like some people thought the African frogs were good for like pregnancy tests or something, I don't know. So they exported these frogs, and the African clawed frog is actually immune to the disease, but that's actually worse, because then they are mobile carriers. So these frogs were exported to like America, Australia, and Europe, and infected those frogs, and disease just spreading more and more. It's like even if it's not due to the chytrid fungus, we're at a global amphibian epidemic right now, or pandemic. Like, our amphibian populations we've lost so many species. Like, since 1980, we've lost at least 500 amphibian species, and the background ratio is 1 every 500 years, so yeah, I know, we're really at a bad time. So, what are people doing about this? Where did this start again? I said South Africa, because people didn't really know what they were doing. They were just exporting the frogs, and yeah, right now it's in definitely Australia, Europe, looks like Japan, South Africa, South America and North America. Yeah, when the scientists were trying to figure out what was killing all the frogs, they had no idea, so they just kept walking around, and then when they found out what it was, finally, they realized that they didn't clean their boots, so they were spreading the disease without knowing. And another thing about the Chytrid fungus is, yeah, so anybody who's working out in a places with a lot of water, where anyone who's out in places where a lot of water, where frogs would have their habitat, needs to disinfect all of their equipment, especially the boots and probably other clothing like gloves. So just disinfect everything. Like, you know, these spores are really small and microscopic, like you need to disinfect. So who is affected? The Chytrid fungus, might have seen from that on the map. Like, the yellow just shows areas where it's present but not associated with fatalities. And red is associated with fatalities, because the Chytrid fungus has a very specific niche. Its niche is high elevation, relatively high temperature, lots of water, of course. It needs water to survive. So that's why it really started mostly in the jungles, like rainforests, Central America. But, it does spread, and it has killed a bunch of species in Australia and Europe. And, so you can see, why do we care? Why are frogs important? Besides intrinsic value, so like, yeah, why just let frogs die when we could do something? Frogs are actually an indicator species, which means they're the kind of a keystone species in an environment, in an ecosystem. So, knowing that there's a presence of frogs in an ecosystem lets you know that a particular ecosystem is very healthy. Because the frogs, they provide food to snakes, birds, I think grasshoppers, and fish, and even monkeys. So frogs are like, they control insect populations, and they're also, because of their relationship with water, it shows you that the water quality of a place is very, very good. If the water isn't completely clean and, supportive of vegetation, then obviously frogs couldn't live off it, because, they take the water into their skin. And frogs are also very helpful to humans. Like, they've been shown to, have can't like what like I don't know, they have certain bacteria in their gut that is helpful for it would possibly cure diseases like peptic ulcers and all gastrointestinal diseases. So yeah, frogs have played a crucial part in the discovery of human medicine. So we definitely don't want to lose our frogs. I think this is also affecting salamanders too, so just watch out for those all amphibians. Like, I remember my Taishi teacher who was older said when he was a kid, he like there were so many frogs you couldn't help run them over. And now there's definitely not as many frogs. Like, biologists, they say you used to see frogs all the time in the rainforest, and now you'd be lucky if you see a couple frogs. So, yeah, again, this is being treated by soaking the frogs in clean water. Not sure of the effectiveness of that. And, yeah, definitely disinfect the boots. Tell anybody who might be working out where frog habitats would be. So, like, hunters or people who hike a lot. Right now we just need to spread the word about the disease. So definitely wash your hands and equipment very well between handling frogs or after field work. Yeah, since 1980, 500 amphibian species extinctions, and this has gotten to the point where the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has demanded that the Department of the Interior put stricter laws and regulations to label the imported amphibians and amphibian eggs as injurious organisms. And the Fish and Wildlife Service has also considered a temporary ban on exchange in imports from other countries. Again, this started from South Africa, but has kind of spread everywhere. And so the chytrid fungus is the only species of chytrids that is parasitic to vertebrates, at least, instead of saprophytic. So methods of curing the disease have been attempted quarantines and soaking in clean water for the frogs. And so yeah, it has been said that the chytrid fungus is the #2 threat to amphibian species extinctions, next to habitat loss, of course. So obviously, also habitat loss is another big problem. Like, I guess that's related to overpopulation, or how we can't stick to our own territory. It's like, why live in smaller communities and don't try to encroach on these frog populations? Or if you do happen to wander out in the woods and wet areas with a lot of water where the frog populations would be, definitely like disinfect all your clothing, and especially shoes, and basically anything you brought. And yeah, just got the word out there about the chytrid fungus. I'm surprised that even a lot of environmentalists don't know about this. It's like, you people need to study your contemporary issues, especially environmentally. I mean, if we don't pay attention to the environment, where are we gonna live? We can't just bank on Mars, like Mars colonization. Like, so what if Mars has a similar similar tilt to us, similar tilt and axis to the Earth. Like, that's still a totally different planet. I mean, just because it has a similar tilt, its orbit is longer or shorter, and so the weather extremes are much harsher. It's like, no, we're not really gonna be used to Mars. We'd much rather stay here on Earth. Mars is not, it's a different planet. It's not for us. I mean, who knows? There might be aliens there that don't want us on Mars. And, I mean, another thing my environmental teacher said was the ethical issue is, okay, if we keep trashing our planet, is it really, like, ethical to just go and trash another planet? Are we just gonna trash the whole universe? Because, yeah, we'd be... a lot of people don't realize if other organisms could vote, we'd be voted off the planet. So, again, the Chytrid fungus, Bacillochytrium dendrobatidis, parasitic to vertebrates, killing the frogs. So, care about your frogs. Frogs are very important. I don't see why would you just let frogs die? So, they're indicator species. So, pay attention to this environmental issue, contemporary issues. You need to know your contemporary issues and get out there and help these amphibians in the water. Clean the water.